Happy WrestleMania weekend, folks, and welcome back to WrestleRant. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews. Of course, today we're breaking down the post-WrestleMania 2013 edition of Raw from April 8th, 2013. A great show from start to finish, and that's what we're going to be doing here on the channel for the next couple of editions. We reviewed the review went up last Saturday of my review of the post-WrestleMania 2012 Raw. Today we're talking about 2013. The next one should be up on Tuesday or Wednesday. I really have no idea, but this upcoming week will be 2014, and then on Saturday next week will be the post-WrestleMania 2015 Raw, and the post-WrestleMania 2016 Raw review won't be up until next year, because I like to look at it, like a year in retrospect. It makes no sense to do it 2 weeks later, but anyway, we'll get right down to it. So, post-WrestleMania Raw 2013, less than 24 hours removed from WrestleMania 29, which was a very lackluster show. I talked about it in my review of WrestleMania 29, so I'll just kind of sum it up here. I didn't like the show. I didn't like that show whatsoever. I thought WrestleMania 27 was worse on the whole. 29 to me just felt like a 4-hour episode of Raw. The main event sucked. Punk and Taker was awesome. Really, to me, the only gem on the entire show. But coming out of that event, it felt like nothing changed. I know we had a new WWE champion, and that was really about it. Triple H is still wrestling John Cena champion again. Whoop-de-doo. Still WWE Tag Team Champions, Team Hell No. Still World Heavyweight Champion Alberto Del Rio. The streak is still intact. Nothing felt like it changed coming out of WrestleMania 29, as opposed to the year before, at WrestleMania 28, when The Rock won. We have a new world champion. It felt like, wow, I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow night on Raw. How will John Cena respond? What's next for The Rock? Coming out of 29, I couldn't give two shits. Yet I still remained excited for the post-WrestleMania Raw just because I really hoped they would right their wrongs, and they did. Kicking it off with the opening segment, John Cena, the newly crowned WWE Champion, coming out and cutting a very entertaining promo about how you guys all thought I was going to do a little, it's a post-WrestleMania Raw, let's do a little dance. And he does the old dance, and then he goes, how about a little heel turn? So then he takes his heel, and he swivels it around. He does a little swivel around with his heel. It was great. You got to watch it for yourself, but I, legitimately laughed out loud. Whenever I watch it, I laughed out loud then. I laughed out loud looking like an idiot when I watched it back a couple weeks ago, when I was at breakfast or whatever on my iPhone. But, it was a very entertaining promo from John Cena. Out comes Mark Henry, coming off a victory over Ryback at WrestleMania 29. He demands a title shot in the main event that night on Monday Night Raw before Booker T came out, which made no sense because he was the then general manager of SmackDown, so how he had power to book a title match, I have zero idea. But he said there will be no championship tonight because the number one contender is still The Rock after, being owed a rematch, which I always found interesting. I know some people have brought it up before. I've talked about it before, but we never really got an explanation for that. And I don't know what WWE had in mind when they wrote that line for Booker T. To me, when he said that, I won't go into full analysis of his promo 3 years later. It's not like it really matters. But The Rock lost the title match at WrestleMania 29. He was, in storyline, owed a rematch. I think the plan was to do some sort of a triple threat match. I feel like Punk was going to leave regardless for those 2 months to take that break. So maybe when they found out Rock got hurt, maybe they told him he could take time off, or I really have no idea. But I think the initial plan at one point was to do a triple threat match at Extreme Rules between Cena, Rock, and Punk. Which would have been fucking phenomenal, which was what should have been the main event at WrestleMania regardless, but that's just me. But yeah, I think that might have been the plan, or at least there was some sort of idea that Rock was going to come back and get his rematch. Maybe not in a one-on-one match with Cena, per se, but there were some plans in place to do him and Cena in a title feud at some point down the line. So that made no sense. Maybe they really did, they did not plan on Rock coming back, or they did plan on Rock coming back, but they kicked off Ryback and Cena anyway. It's very convoluted. But I thought that one little nugget from Booker T was interesting kind of in retrospect. So that set up Cena versus Mark Henry in the main event. If Mark Henry won, he would get a future championship match. After that, with the Raw in-ring debut of Big E Langston taking on former world champion Daniel Bryan. Pretty standard match, a good showing from Big E. I never really thought as a heel when he was with Dolph Ziggler and AJ, and it was a great group, but I never really thought he was able to kind of fulfill his full potential in that role, and then we never really got to see much of him as on his own when he was with Dolph Ziggler and AJ, which was to be expected. But even when they broke him out as a babyface, I felt like they could have done more with him. I mean, obviously the New Day was the best thing to ever happen to him, hands down, but they could have done more with him as, with the 5-count gimmick that he had going on in NXT, whatever. Anyway, a good match with Big E and Daniel Bryan, though, a big win for Big E in his first match on Monday Night Raw. After that, for the Intercontinental Championship, a rematch from WrestleMania the night before, The Miz defending against Wade Barrett. These two faced off in the WrestleMania 29 pre-show, which I missed, by the way. I arrived late at my viewing party, so I couldn't see the match. The match went all of 4 minutes anyway, which made no sense considering the pre-show was like an hour or 2 hours. And the match got 4 minutes? Really? This was a vast improvement, a very good match from Wade Barrett and The Miz. I was shocked to see Barrett win clean, much less win at all. So I don't know why they opted to give Miz the championship, only to have him lose it the next night. He went off to go film Christmas Bounty or whatever the hell it was that, right immediately after this match, and not like immediately after, but in the spring, so they had to take the championship off him. But why give him the championship to begin with? I guess it made for a cool moment on that post-WrestleMania Raw, because Barrett's from there, so it was a nice little reaction for him, I guess. But yeah, anyway, I thought it was a really good match and a surprising title change with Wade Barrett becoming I believe, three-time Intercontinental Champion at that point. After that, we had Alberto Del Rio teaming up with Zeb Coulter against Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger teaming up with Zeb Coulter against Alberto Del Rio in a 2-on-1 handicap match. Crowd could not have given a shit. Could not have cared less about this contest. They just desperately wanted to see Dolph Ziggler, cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase, as he should have at WrestleMania. One can argue it worked out for the better, considering Rollins would do the same thing, or he would end up doing that at WrestleMania a couple years later. And then Dolph Ziggler would get a bigger reaction, maybe on Raw, because it was a smaller arena. I have no idea, but I think it worked out for the better, in my personal opinion. So anyway, Del Rio wins after forcing Jack Swagger to tap out, making him look weak, even though he had a 2-on-1 advantage with Zeb Coulter in his corner. Whatever. So he was hurt coming out of the contest, not legitimately, but in storyline. He was, tending his ankle, which had been hurt the night before, after Swagger put him in the ankle lock. Q, here to show the world, Dolph Ziggler comes out to one of the biggest, if not the biggest reaction I've ever heard in my time as a wrestling fan. I went fucking nuts, as I'm sure everyone else did too. Ziggler comes out, cashes in Money in the Bank. I believe it might have been the longest Money in the Bank cash-in match up to that point. I might be wrong, other than obviously RVD Cena from One Night Stand 06. But I'm pretty sure in terms of like cashing in immediately, not announcing it, this might have been the longest match. I don't really know, but they had played it off so well because Dolph Ziggler, even today, gets pushed and gets pushed and gets pushed, and we have this hope that, this might be finally it, before they completely rip the rug right from underneath him. And that was kind of the case with this match. I mean, no pun intended. Money in the Bank case, haha. But he came close on a number of occasions, then Del Rio battled back. He hit an enziguri. Then he was going for C, and the crowd was saying, no. And he was going for the arm breaker, and he got it locked in. I'm like, oh, fuck, no, they're not actually going to have Ziggler win. And then he grabbed the ankle, which was a great spot, twisted it until Del Rio let go of the arm bar. He turned around, Ziggler took advantage, hit the zigzag for the 1-2-3, new World Heavyweight Champion. I lost my shiz in it. The crowd lost their shiz in it. It was fucking amazing. What a moment on Monday Night Raw. Definitely one of those top 100 Raw moments. They came out with that DVD a couple of years ago for the, counting down to episode 1000 of Monday Night Raw. So they had that top 100 list of Raw moments. This would be on there if they redid it today. Absolutely. Might be on there. Maybe not. No, I think they came out that DVD in 2012, so I'm probably wrong, but it's not. But it should be. If they redid it today, it would absolutely deserve to be, just because, wow, what a moment. I mean, the reign was short-lived. He had to drop it 2 months later to a returning Del Rio, or when he came back from injury, he dropped it to Del Rio at Payback, and he never got the championship back, which was bullshit. That's another rant for another day. But wow, what a fucking moment. As you can expect, one hell of a Raw up to this point, just everything firing on all cylinders. And that was far, far from it. The episode is far from over. After that, The Undertaker comes out to address the victory over CM Punk at WrestleMania. He thanks Paul Bearer, who dedicated his win to at WrestleMania. Sierra Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, The Shield. And out comes The Shield, about to attack Undertaker in the middle of the ring. They surround him like a pack of hyenas, like a pack of sharks. School of Sharks? I don't know. Then out comes Team Hell No. The Undertaker's brother Kane and Daniel Bryan. They help fend off The Shield, and that would lead to a 6-man tag team match on Raw in England 2 weeks later. One of the best Raw matches in the last 5-10 years, in my personal opinion. A really cool segment. It gave Taker something to do in the meantime before he got taken out or written out of TV a couple of weeks later. That same week, like on SmackDown, The Shield, attacked him or whatever. But yeah, really, really good match here. A really, really good moment, and a cool segment that actually led to something. It wasn't just a one-off. So after that, we had a random-ass 6-man tag team match that I completely forgot about until I watched the show back. Santino, Zack Ryder, and R-Truth taking on 3MB. Pure filler. I honestly have no idea what purpose this was supposed to serve. But Santino, Ryder, and Truth won. Whatever. Orton and Sheamus up next. So the story with this match was that throughout the night, both guys wanted a match with Big Show. And they held a fan vote poll, like the winner of the fan vote gets a match with Big Show tonight. I think Orton won. I'm pretty sure Orton won. And then they completely went against it and said, or Vicky said, or whoever said, the poll doesn't matter. You're just going to face each other instead. So it's like, all right then. And Orton and Sheamus, to their credit, have always had good matches. But the fans at this point had every right to hijack the match, hijack the show, and just shit all over it because they were sick of Sheamus and they were sick of Orton at this point as baby faces. The match was all right, but you could visibly see both guys getting angry just because the crowd went nuts. There's videos all over YouTube that you can look up, like the chants, the post-WrestleMania 29 chants, but this was where they were really evident with the crowd chanting for Y2J, RVD, Randy Savage, CM Punk. Maybe not CM Punk because he was with the company, obviously, at this point, but he wasn't on the show. They probably wanted to avoid him getting cheered on the post-WrestleMania Raw, which was wise of them, but anyway. So they cheered for a whole hell of a lot of things, including the infamous chant that would kick off with this match that still happens to this day, and I don't agree with it every time it happens, but it is funny from time to time. When they chanted for the commentators, they started with JBL, then went to Jerry Lawler, and then even chanted for Michael Cole, and then Mike Chioda too, which was hilarious and really one of those moments that you can't like shit on the crowd for. Like when they chant "We Are Awesome," that's where this chant made its debut. It is annoying, especially when it's done, ad nauseum, and they just do it relentlessly. But I thought it was nice. I thought it was really, really funny, very entertaining. Maybe some people won't have that same reaction, but for the first time that it was ever done, when Big Show came out, by the way, I forgot to mention, the match went to a no contest. Big Show came out, destroyed both guys. He tried to throw a chair in the ring at least twice, and he missed both times. And the crowd goes, one more time, one more chair, or whatever. And it was great. Just so entertaining. A perfect example of how the crowd made the show, at least at this point. Fandango was scheduled to make his Raw in-ring debut up next. The match with Kofi Kingston, I don't even know if it really happened. I think it was supposed to happen, I don't know. But Chris Jericho came in, had the match thrown out, and Fandango won via DQ. He attacked Fandango. Those two had a match at WrestleMania. And then afterwards, Fandango, he was like, and your winner via disqualification, Fandango. And of course, this was also the night the Fandangoing made its debut in the post-WrestleMania Raw, where it just fucking blew up, as did his theme song. But yeah, that was a cool moment, the debut of Fandangoing. Never really cared for Fandango then, don't really care for him now. But that was a cool moment, even for him. I mean, it was short-lived. WWE tried to make it cool, and whenever they try to make something cool, it automatically becomes uncool. But cool moment, again. A lot like with Orton and Sheamus, where you could shit on the crowd for whatever, but they were just having fun. Maybe ironically doing it, but it was a lot of fun. After that, we had Tons of Funk and Naomi, or basically all of Tons of Funk. Naomi, Cameron, Tensai, or Sweet Tea, whatever, and Brodus Clay, taking on the Rhodes Scholars and the Bell Twins in a match that was supposed to happen at WrestleMania, but it got scrapped from the card. Crowd didn't give a shit. It's not like they crapped all over it like they did Orton and Sheamus, but they just didn't really care at all. They they danced along with Tons of Funk afterwards after they won, but the match really wasn't anything special. So we get to the main event, John Cena, Mark Henry. The match really wasn't anything what I thought it would have been. I mean, they had a really good match at Money in the Bank, but that was different circumstances, obviously. This match was kind of a letdown just because it was over before it really started. Cena won via countout. I was hoping, Henry would win. That was not the case. So out comes Ryback to save John Cena, seemingly, because he and Mark Henry had a match with WrestleMania. Ryback lost. Henry won. He takes out Mark Henry, and he fends him off from the ring. So Ryback and Cena have a long, epic stare-off, and it looks like they're just going to go off the show with them shaking hands, whatever. And then they both do the Feed Me More chant. Then when Cena's blindsided, when he's not looking, Ryback blindsides John Cena with a clothesline, follows it up with a shell shock. People were telling me on Twitter that night, oh, it's not a heel turn, he just wants the title. Yeah, right. He obviously went heel. It was the killing point in his career. He lost pay-per-view match after pay-per-view match after pay-per-view match, even before he went heel. But the only thing he had going for him was the Feed Me More chant, at least at that point. At least turning him heel now makes a little bit more sense because his character has more depth and he's not doing the whole bully shit like Ryback rules, which was so dumb. But it was a hot angle to go off with. People were excited to see what Ryback would do in the title picture as a heel against John Cena, and the crowd chanted it. And I mean, they chanted for Ryback. They chanted Feed Me More. It was a cool moment. And again, the feud was disappointing because Ryback's whole heel turn was disappointing. His whole heel run was disappointing. But for what this was, for a moment, it was really cool and the best way to go off the show, which basically what WrestleMania 29 did not offer, and something to look forward to a breath of fresh air and a lot of exciting in-ring debuts, returns, a lot of cool stuff. Rematches, title changes, awesome stuff from start to finish. So, needless to say, watch this show on the WWE Network. You can watch it today, tomorrow before WrestleMania, on the before the post-WrestleMania Raw this coming Monday. It's a great show to rewatch. I strongly recommend it. A lot of great moments. There's not really one moment other than the Money in the Bank cash, and I would go out of your way to see. I mean, there's some filler stuff, like I said, with the 3MB match and tons of funk, but even that stuff isn't awful. The crowd made this show, which was really where, the crowd took center stage from that point forward. But an awesome episode from start to finish. Check it out only on the WWE Network. And that's it, guys. That is my review of the April 8th, 2013 edition of Monday Night Raw. We'll be back here on WrestleRant on, like I said, either Tuesday or Wednesday. Probably Tuesday. We'll have to wait and see. But in the meantime and in between time, you guys can follow me on Twitter at WrestleRant. Find me on Facebook. Give the page and all thumbs up at facebook.com/Graham.Jason.Matthews. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. All support is greatly appreciated. This will be my final, talking video. We have predictions going up for WrestleMania today and tomorrow. But other than that, this is my final real video before WrestleMania tomorrow. So enjoy the hell out of WrestleMania tomorrow night. Enjoy the hell out of Raw on Monday, which should be epic as always. I'm Graham Matthews, and I'll catch you folks down the road to WrestleMania.